time for Fruity's fantasy. It's a time we've all been waiting for. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because it's game week, baby. The season is finally upon us. I'm going to take you through my game week 1. If you are new, if you're watching this on its own, please like and subscribe for more. I'm new to this whole fantasy Premier League YouTube scene, okay? I tend just to do it for fun at school with mates. Now, trying to take it a little bit more seriously, doing a bit more research, and it should be hopefully a very good season for 1-0. If you do want to join the 1-0 league, hopefully you can still get in it by the time you're watching this. I'll leave the code in the description, or you should be able to see it on your screen. Goalkeeper, you can see my team now. Goalkeeper, I'm not gonna hide little secret parts for you. Take a look at it. Take notes down. Get it on a notepad. Before we do start, bring out a notepad. Straight. I've got Sanchez in a goalkeeper. I think it's a fairly safe lock. Brighton's number 1 is going to get saves. I think Brighton, as you take out Ben White out of the defense, means it could be a little bit more exposed, but I think Sanchez for 4.5 mil, you don't really want to be spending, 5.5 on a goalkeeper. I think Sanchez, and he's one of the most highly owned goalkeepers as well, so it's for a reason. My defense. Now, before you just relax, okay? Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, is a must. I'm not going to waste your time with the players who you know you need. Trent is a must. He's going to get assists. He's got Van Dijk and Kanate and Howe back next to him. It's got to give him a bit more license to attack. Robertson obviously is injured, which we'll get to that because you can see the other defender. Favourable fixture with Norwich first game of the season. I think Trent should have himself a good year once again, and fantasy-wise should get you points. I think it's a must. Similarly to Luke Shaw, is in career best form, coming off a great Euros. Luke Shaw now has got Varane and Maguire next to him. Okay, he's going to have a bit more of that confidence to stream forwards, hopefully get himself some assists and play some good football. He's going to take some set pieces. He took a couple corners regularly during the pre-season fixtures. I know Harry Maguire got himself on the score sheet as well. I do expect United to keep more clean sheets than what we have in the last couple of years, obviously with that Varane signing. So I think Luke Shaw at the end of the day, 5.5 mil, I think it's a steal. I think he could ultimately be one of your biggest money makers this season. That's how I've got high hopes for Luke Shaw. I know you're looking at Tsimikas, and it's the new craze for fantasy players. Tsimikas is coming straight in. The Robertson injury, I had Tsimikas on the bench before the Robertson injury, purely just because of cash. Didn't expect him to play. You can see on my bench, I do have Ben White. Tsimikas, though, is going to play for Liverpool. It's as simple as that. He's going to play. Robertson is injured. Tsimikas hopefully can fill in that void until Robertson gets back. Hopefully make us a bit of money, and we can look to replace him with someone necessary. Tsimikas, maybe he wasn't now thinking of theories. Why didn't he play last year? They obviously had injuries. Obviously, Robertson was still playing, but maybe he didn't give that much of an opportunity because Liverpool fans who I've spoken to don't rate him that much defensively. So Tsimikas is great going forward. He can do that very well. However, coming back defensively and helping solidify the defense isn't one of his strengths. So for that reason, I do think Tsimikas can still be important. He's got my name, Costas. So add a Liverpool defender in there also. Should be able to keep clean sheets. And I think Tsimikas for 4 mil, if he plays round 1 and continues to play until game week 3, I think there's going to be a lot of silly managers out there thinking, damn, I could have saved a bit of money and ultimately got him in the team. I've clearly got Ben White on the bench. White could come in just in for fixtures. I think Liverpool, I'm pretty sure, played Chelsea round 2. Sorry for that. Ben White might come in if Arsenal's got a favourable fixture then, because Tsimikas, as we said, defensively could get a little bit exposed. Move to the midfield, and when I say I've changed my team a lot, I mean I've changed my team a lot. I was very, very certain on the team about 2 days ago. I've changed it once again, and for all I know, I might change it once again, but I'm going to stick to this because I needed to get Bruno Fernandes into this team. I couldn't bring him in for financial reasons. I needed a financial takeover. Fortunately, we did get that financial takeover. So I've got Bruno Fernandes in there at midfield, who I had to bring in, which is why I got Rafinha. 6.5 mil, could have gone for a Buendia. I think Rafinha, if you did just come from the Claude's interview, we've got Leeds to do very well. So I think Rafinha and Bamford are going to be almost like a Son and Kane combination for Leeds. If Bamford scores, Rafinha should be making the assists, okay? Obviously, we know Leeds attack. They're an attacking team. Bielsa loves his attacking football. I think Rafinha should do quite well. I've got Bruno Fernandes, obviously, in midfield, as I've said. Mo Salah, I won't waste your time with him, is a must. If you don't have Salah in your team to start off, you've lost. Just find a new sport. Go play NBA, okay? Salah and captain him. I'll give it to you then. Captain against Norwich We all know what happened last time these two teams faced off in the first game of the season. Mo Salah hopefully bags himself some good points to start off the season. Hopefully, get your team into good forwards momentum. Now, next up, I've got Greenwood, and the one thing that was my concern with this fantasy team is maybe differentials. Obviously, I've been doing my research, seeing who people have, who people don't have. FPL mate, obviously, he actually reviewed my team, so uh, he obviously had a stat off. So the most popular players that people have. Greenwood probably is my most differential player. He's still quite highly owned, but I think Greenwood. No Rashford because he's just recovering from surgery. Cavani won't be playing against Leeds. I'm 98% sure, which leaves almost that left wing or that striker position free from Mason Greenwood. Part of me hopes he does start down the middle. He's obviously listed as a midfielder in the game. Hopefully, if he does play more attacking and United do start to attack more, obviously with the likes of Sancho and Varane to solidify our defensive unit, means that Greenwood can get some goals on the board. And I think he could be in for a bit of a breakout season to an extent. So I think Mason Greenwood in my midfield, I'm quite happy with that. So that that decides the back seven, back eight. You can see there's United and Liverpool players galore. I just think the fixtures work for them. I think the players, Bruno and Salah, two of the best players in the league. I think they're a must. Luke Shaw and Trent, I think, are a must in your defense. My forwards, Patrick Bamford, I've already touched on him really. Bamford, I think he's going to be good. Could be a good shout for the Golden Boot this season if Harry Kane isn't really having the season that he's having. Ivan Toney, I was a little bit hesitant because you've almost got Bamford this year and Bamford last year in the same team. We saw Bamford scoring goals in the Championship, coming to the Premier League. Can he do it once again? Yeah, evidently he did. I'm a bit hesitant on Tony just because I don't know Brentford as a whole are going to be as good as what Leeds were when they first came up. However, the thing that purely got me over the line is his price for 6.5 mil. I originally had Antonio there. Obviously, I had to move him out for financial reasons, but I think West Ham will struggle a bit this year. Antonio is obviously a bit injury prone, and hopefully Tony can 6.5 mil. If he can score a couple goals, Arsenal first game of the season. My dream is Tony scores maybe one or two, because I want to put it past Brentford to get a result against Arsenal, and it should be very good. And it could ultimately be a bit of your money maker to maybe in the near future you can bring him out for maybe a Callum Wilson, for example. So I think Ivan Tony there scored 30 plus goals last season in the Championship. Statistically, Championship strikers tend to score around 50% of the goals in the next season in the Premier League than what they did the season before. So if Tony can give us 14, 15, 16 goals, I think we're dreaming. So it should be good. Now, a striker that I had from the very beginning, as soon as the Aston Villa transfer was announced, was Danny Ings. I think Danny Ings is almost a must for your team. If you do want to spare a bit of money and add it to Tony, so keep that extra point 0.5. At the end of the day, I think Danny Ings is crucial for this team because obviously Aston Villa, I expect them to do quite good. I think having Buendia behind him, Leon Bailey on the right, could have a Watkins on the left. He's also got the likes of El Ghazi, Traore, Trezeguet. There's attack. They've got some good attacking players, Villa, and we saw Danny Ings do it at a Southampton, who weren't as strong as Aston Villa's team now, and he put up good results on the board. Hopefully, Danny Ings can stay fit. I think he should have a very good season. So that's my starting 11. I'm confident with it, but I feel like I'm going to need to be quite proactive at the same time with this team throughout the whole year. Unfortunately, we've got through this fantasy, so you guys can let me know who I should take out, who I should bring in. Go to my bench, obviously Foster, cycling GK. Is he going to play a lot? I'm not too sure, but for 4 mil, I think he's probably one of the more likely 4 million goalkeepers that could get rotated a bit more. And he's played a lot in the preseason. So if that's an indication to go by, maybe it could be a good pick. Ben White, obviously I mentioned before, he's going to play every game for Arsenal. He's not going to score you a lot of points, but if, like I did mention, if Liverpool come up against maybe a Chelsea and Tsimikas is starting that, and I'm not too sure, and Arsenal have a good fixture, I think that could be a substitution to make, just so you can maybe guarantee yourself a couple points for Ben White. Tsimikas might concede a bit in that game. We could just make that swap, or I can even add him in for a midfielder. On the other person on the bench, for my midfield, got Gibbs White, been playing a lot for Wolves in the preseason. It could hopefully be the year where he really breaks into it. Obviously, a young English talent. Hopefully, Gibbs White can have a good season and put in some good performances. And ultimately, 4.5 mils, either him or Billy Gilmore. I think Gilmore's obviously an unbelievable shout also to have on the bench. And my third player on the bench, Omobamidele. There we go. Been tearing it up for Norwich in the preseason. Young defender. I think he could be a little still. And Norwich, they supposedly there's talks on them like can transition to a three back where he can also come in and play a little bit of more an attacking defender. So I think overall it could be a good little bench as well, which I'm happy about. And you can see I've also got zero point 0.5 in the bank just to give myself a bit of breathing room, just in case. Just in case I need to bring in and maybe drop an Ings or and bring in a more expensive forward. There's a lot I can still do to this team. I think I'm not going to touch it until this weekend's games. Next week we'll tune in obviously for the 1-0 show and take it from there. So ladies and gentlemen, please give me a ranking out of 10 in the comments down below. Make sure to join the league if you're watching it right now. Um, should be all good. I'm gonna be focusing quite intently during this weekend's round of Premier League fixtures. I can't wait for the season to start. Don't go too heavy on me. As I said, I'm new to the fantasy YouTube game. Usually I'm just doing it for fun, but now I'm trying to take it a bit more seriously. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you did enjoy, like and subscribe, doing the business. I'll see you next week for another 1-0 show. Deuces.